MSR Holdings versus Candace DeForest, all occupants, 231779. And appearance for the plaintiff, please.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Bob Packer on behalf of MSR Holding LLC.
They give you your P number, counsel.
P70885.
Thank you. All right, and
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Natalie Hutz, P86634 on behalf of Ms. DeForest.
okay, thank you.
Amber Anderson, P86091, co-counsel for defendant.
Thank you.
Candace DeForest.
Thank you. Okay, so we all met today over at Mr. Forrest's home. And we had an opportunity to walk around and see the condition of the home. I know last week when everybody was here, there was some discrepancy based upon the photos that were submitted as exhibits, and the court will actually indicate that those had been stipulated to, as I did before, and I don't recall if I indicated they were admitted, but they're also admitted. The stipulated exhibits were admitted. And so I think that it was a very necessary exercise so that everybody could see the status of the home and the alleged repairs that had been made, and the holes and the other stuff that was put out in the exhibits. And I believe that there's a certificate of compliance or occupancy or something that was issued. I don't know, but so I think that was what part of the plaintiff's position was. But in any event, I had my court officer go out there to see if you guys were talking, and you weren't. So which was actually kind of disheartening, because I really expected that when we got back, the first thing that was going to happen is counsel was going to talk. So it's my understanding that you were then talking after my court officer indicated that that was my expectation. And so what's happening? Are we proceeding with the hearing?
Yes, Your Honor.
We're proceeding with the hearing.
Yeah, and the reason we didn't talk originally, Your Honor, is because we've been so far away since the outset of this case that I don't believe that there's any resolution that my client can accept that the defendant can offer. So unfortunately, we are here. So. And after talking for about 10-15 minutes, we're almost exactly, we're a little closer together, but it's still very far away. My client cannot accept.
Even after all of us saw what we all saw.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, let me where did we? Okay, so let me, Mr. Babaker, you're indicating that Mr. Forrest owes how much in rent?
I'll just try to have that conversation. If you recall, Your Honor, I had to subtract the water bill that was added to the ledger. If I'm doing this now, 6,150 is the past due rent and late fees.
And how much are the late fees per month?
$50 per month.
How much is the rent per month?
$800 per month.
And let's go off the record for a moment. I'll be right back. I left my notes left. Wait.
Please rise.
Okay, so let's go back on the record. And let me ask this. Mr. Forrest, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear from the testimony about to give this matter be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
That's on.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to ask you. Did you ever find or get a response from Venmo regarding that $2,400 that you testified to that you paid to the plaintiff?
No, ma'am, I am trying to get the final statements. I called them.
I need to be much louder for the recording.
I tried to get the final statements. I requested for them. I could not get them. I have emailed them. I have talked to them. I have no luck. We tried.
Okay. And so what I'm interested in seeing is Ms. Hess, you have arrived at the $4,000 that you're requesting in rent abatement on behalf of your client. Where do you arrive at that figure?
Yes, Your Honor. So it is taking into account the amount that Mr. Forrest paid, as well as a figure for the ceiling falling on her daughter.
The ceiling fell on top of her daughter?
On top of her daughter, and her daughter had black eye.
Okay, is that in one of these exhibits?
The ceiling is the picture of the black eye is down.
Did you at any point communicate that to MSR Holdings, Mr. Forrest?
I did tell them about it, yes.
In what form?
I called them and told them that the ceiling fell on my daughter in the middle of the night, and I didn't hear her, and she had to hold it for almost 45 minutes.
Okay, and who did you speak to for that?
I spoke with the manager.
And would that be Mr. Al-Faqih or Mr. Al-Madrahi?
The one in the picture. I'm not with their name, sorry.
Okay, that's Mr. Al-Faqih.
Yes.
And Your Honor, Mr. Sahuba is the third member of the, that wasn't here at the last hearing, wasn't available, but he's here today.
I understand that. So,
Your Honor, if I may,
yes.
Exhibit A, B, and C are all of the daughter's, pictures of the daughter's ceiling. So A is when it fell, B is when it was being fixed, and C is after the fix.
Okay, so, and when did it fall?
It fell in December.
Okay, so, counsel, which one of the individuals is responsible for making sure repairs are done and done properly that you have here with you today?
Well, I'd actually like Mr. Sahuba, he's more of the manager, he's in touch with all, and he has done walkthroughs on the properties.
Okay, and then I'll hear from him.
And there is one exhibit, Your Honor, that wasn't stipulated to that would be proposed through Mr. Sahuba, as he's the one. There's some pictures that we have here we'd like to propose into evidence.
What are those pictures of?
He could testify pictures of the property prior to Mr. Forrest moving into the property.
Okay, I don't know that at this point that's very relevant as far as the ceiling goes, but let's see. And so sir, if you could please state and spell your first and last names for the record.
Mohammed Sahuba.
Spell your first and last names, please.
I'm sorry. Mohammed Mohmed, last name Sahuba, Sahoubah.
Your Honor,
Yes,
may we sequester the witnesses?
absolutely. So Mr. Al-Faqih and Mr. Al-Madrahi, you're going to have to go sit out in the lobby. Any objection, Mr. Babaker?
No objection.
All right, and then there's other individuals in here. Are they going to be testifying?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. And you're not allowed to be watching on live stream either. So, Mr. Sahuba, what is your position in the company?
Property manager.
Okay, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear from the testimony about to give this matter to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the
Yes,
truth?
sir.
I'm sorry?
Yes,
Okay, so you were at the home today, correct?
that's correct.
And you saw the status of the ceiling upstairs in the daughter's room, correct? Which is exhibit A, B, and C.
That's correct.
Okay. And so as to the ceiling being fixed, I'm not talking about where the ceiling fan is hanging or the other part closer to the attic door or the upstairs attic crawl space door, or whatever you'd like to refer to it as. You saw that repair work, correct?
Yes,
And so is that repair work done satisfactorily?
for the inspector, the work done just next to the stairs and the left side.
I'm not talking about, no, please listen to my question.
Right.
We're talking about exhibits A, B, and C. And those are in the room. So we went up the steps. There was the son's room that was open there. Then you go through the door and that's the daughter's room. So that's the room I'm talking about right now.
Okay.
So. The ceiling repairs that were made, were those made satisfactorily in your opinion?
Yes,
Really? Why do you think that that was made satisfactorily?
I mean, those picture, I'm sure some stuff on the picture.
Oh, sir, hold on. I'm not talking about the pictures. We were there in real life. So at this point, forget about the picture. I'm talking about right now. Right now, your testimony is that the repairs to the ceiling are satisfactory.
Yes,
So if you were to have a hole in your ceiling, would you expect that the ceiling would be repaired completely?
okay. This hole,
Is that yes or no?
no,
You would not expect a ceiling to be repaired completely in your own home.
yes.
I'm confused now.
I think he's having trouble explaining.
I need just to explain to you about the ceiling in her room. This hole, when I came the first time with the inspector, is some stuff it doesn't like that when I came with the inspector. I'm sure 100% someone who did those before I left with the inspector. When you go
I'm sorry,
upstairs,
somebody did what?
did some stuff after when I left with the inspector, because all the stuff that we share when we walk in today, it wasn't like that when I came with the inspector the first time. So I can give you some explain, like the screen door, it wasn't a screen door.
No. We're going exhibit by exhibit, room by room. I'm not gonna be all over the house while we're talking, while we're handling this. My question is, the ceiling upstairs in the daughter's bedroom, your testimony is that that is satisfactory?
No,
No. And so what's not satisfactory regarding that repair?
I mean, I told you, when I came with the inspector, I didn't see any damage in the ceiling.
Okay, counsel, your client is not really answering my question. My question is very simple. The repair made to the ceiling. I'm not asking about what was done. I'm asking about the repair made to the ceiling. I asked if that was satisfactory in your opinion.
Yes,
You said yes, then you said no, now you're saying yes again.
okay, I said yes.
So now I'm going to repeat my other question. If you have a hole in your home that you live in your ceiling, or there's some damage to your ceiling, would you expect a full, complete repair of the ceiling?
No,
You would not expect that.
no.
Why not?
I mean, if you ask me to do the work for the ceiling,
So I didn't ask if you were doing the work. I asked if you would expect the repair to be full and complete.
no,
You would not expect it to be done the right way.
yes,
You would. And your opinion is that the repair to the ceiling in this home at issue was done the right way.
yes, it was done.
Yeah, it was done, but it wasn't complete. And you know why it wasn't complete? The muddy wasn't sanded. It was not repainted. It's just patched up. It's not complete. It's not complete. Now, let's talk about the ceiling fan, where the ceiling fan hangs. And that, I don't think it's a 2x4, it might be a 1x6 that the ceiling fan's hanging from. I think that might be B or C, I don't know.
See, Your Honor.
Okay. You saw that today, correct?
I saw that today,
Okay.
yes.
And so do you think that that is appropriate, or do you think that there needs to be a repair made to that?
For sure, if I saw description, we need to repair this issue.
Okay,
It is not safety, but when I signed the lease with her the first time, those wood, I don't know, somebody he did that after we signed the lease with her. I have some pictures before. We can show her or can show you to see the picture, but this wood somebody he did by her or somebody else who lived with her.
okay. But, sir, I'm not disputing that perhaps at some point the home did not look like this. Because I cannot imagine somebody would agree to reside in this home in the condition that it's currently in. So I agree, it probably did not start off like this, okay? But I'm also aware, based on the issues with the ceiling, that perhaps there's an issue with the roof, or there may be a water leak, or some water damage or something. It doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be damage from something that somebody did. Because when I look in that corner, I guess it would be the northwest corner of the room, the ceiling there. Let's see, my notes exactly said, I think that is where it was even bowing in. And there was some significant damage. That's not coming from somebody doing something. That's coming from probably some environmental issue, right? Whether it's a leak in the roof, or it could just be something as tiny as a little, what do you call it? Like it's a flashing, right? Where it's not completely connected and there's water getting in and it drips and it kind of goes all wherever it goes, because, right, liquid doesn't go in one straight direction all the time unless it's forced in that direction. So there's that damage, and that hasn't been repaired, correct? That one part of the ceiling there?
Yes, if you see the hole next to the light, we see it today. This hole next to the light, when I came with the inspector, it doesn't look like that. The hole is this one, for sure he did after when I lived with the inspector. I went with the inspector, we went to the room, we didn't see this hole next to the light.
Okay, you're talking about a hole next to the light.
Yes,
Are we talking about the daughter's bedroom still?
yes, correct, that's correct.
the light where the ceiling fan
That's
is?
correct.
Okay, I've moved on to the hole on that other, on the other side of where the drywall repair job was done.
Okay,
If you go closer towards the window and then the opposite side of the window. So you know where that crawl space was in the attic?
yes.
Okay, so just in front of that, forward of that, from that, there was a big area of drywall on the ceiling. And it looks like there's like a piece that's kind of coming down. It looks as though there has been something that's impacted it from above the ceiling down, not from below the ceiling up. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Okay, so that needs to be repaired properly, meaning there has to be, the drywall has to be repaired, or replaced, taped, mudded, sanded. It has to be taped and mudded again, resanded, painted, right, all that. That's a proper repair. Not a hodgepodge as to what was done on the other side of the ceiling. It wasn't even completely sanded. I don't even think it was sanded at all, quite frankly, looking at it. And I'm probably surprising you with my knowledge of construction. So, then let's go to the, yeah, because O and P was still in the daughter's bedroom, correct?
Correct.
Right, because there's my notes, cracks and possible bowing. Okay, the bowing doesn't come from a person doing something from below the ceiling, okay? The other thing I'm going to note is that, and I'm not a construction expert, I'm not any of that, but I have to tell you, I was a little worried that I was going to fall through the floor up in that room because there's some soft areas of the floor. Which tells me that there's some water, some water damage somewhere. Right? I don't know if it's water from rain, I don't know. All I know is that there's some water, there's something somewhere. So then we're going back out of the bedroom to the son's room, which is the open area by the steps. And then there's the wall. And it's separating from the trim. Now, looking at it, right, it does not appear as though somebody did something to that. If somebody did something to that, likely the trim would have been pulled away. But the wall is sunken in away from the trim. Does that make sense?
yes.
Okay. Then, okay, so then that was exhibit N. Then exhibit M as in Murray. The ceiling, it was, so above the steps almost is where that was at, right? The ceiling was mudded, not painted. It doesn't even look as though it was sanded. And that was significantly bowing over the stairs. Significantly bowing over the stairs. Then we're downstairs in the bathroom. And I don't even know, exhibit I, what that light switch on the wall even is, and if the light switch even works to whatever that contraption is against the wall. I understand it's an older home, and so at some point that there's a fan, a light, and then there's something else there. It was three switches on the one. I don't know.
It was installed onto the wall. from visual inspection versus what's in the exhibit as it relates to exhibit I.
Your Honor.
What do you mean it was, what do you mean it was
It
installed?
was, it wasn't the way it looks on the picture, it was up against the wall.
No, it's up against the wall right now, yes.
But the picture has it coming out with wires.
Okay, and so when was this photo taken of exhibit I?
January 14th.
Your Honor, if I may
Yes,
explain, that is how it looked. They did push it back in.
who's
They
they?
screwed it, the maintenance employees that came.
That was on my daughter.
One of the maintenance employees came and screwed it in. It does not work. And it also creates a buzzing sound.
Okay. Okay, there was also exhibit G, the faucet repair request regarding the bathtub. I was kind of confused on that because, I turned it on and it worked, it seemed to work. So what was the point, what was the issue with the faucet for the bathtub?
Your Honor, it was running. Ms. DeForest requested that it be fixed because it wouldn't turn off. It was running
Oh,
at
it
full
was-
speed.
Okay,
And it took maintenance a while to get there to repair it.
okay,
So while it was pouring out, her water bill was increasing.
okay,
as a result.
I understand that, okay. But so now the bathtub's fixed? I mean, the faucet's fixed,
Yes, ma'am, the faucet is fixed.
okay. And how long when you requested the repair, did the repair occur?
It took about 5 days.
5 days, okay. All right, then, we went into, the bedroom, which is on the opposite side of the bathroom, we shared a wall with the bathroom. And then the, access panel, I'm going to refer to it as, to get to the pipes where the shower is. And you can look right on down into the crawl space. There's not anything that is there to stop any of that. That's exhibit D, right?
Correct.
Yeah, I don't even know why that's even permitted, because it seems as though that would be an issue regarding some, energy conservation, but in any event. Okay, so under the kitchen, exhibit H. It's definitely not a finished cabinet, it's just plywood underneath, it looks like from the floor. And then there's a whole bunch of spray foam in there. And so what was the point of that, exhibit?
Your Honor, the spray foam I put in, I put it there. My electric bill in the winter is sky high because you have all the areas with the spray foam is a cold breeze. I have to block off the laundry room. I have to block the sink off. It is freezing.
But we haven't even gotten the laundry room part of it, because there's a whole lot of issues with that. And so, Mr. Sahuba, I apologize, I didn't look back at my notes. Sahuba, have you been made aware of the heating and cooling issues, or at least the heating issues?
She called us one time about the heat.
Okay, so it's either yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, and so what did you do with that information?
When she called, I sent the maintenance man right away. I told her he will be here today, and she texted me back, she said she's in work. So I told her when he called you, just make a schedule with him, see what's the good time for you, and he will stop by today or whenever you have time. That's in the text message.
Okay, and so was there ever some additional communication?
I asked a couple times to have somebody come out. A gentleman came out, put a screen door outside, and that was about it. He said, oh, no more breeze, but that's not what happened. The breeze was still coming in.
You're
So
on.
did you notify maintenance again?
Yes, I have.
Okay, yes, Council?
Exhibit E is about the furnace request, which is what property manager mentioned. There's 5 days between the response. When Mr. Forrest asked if the heating and cooling guy could come back out because there was a problem, and the response was 5 days later. And shown is an exhibit, plaintiff's exhibit 8. The rest of the text message where a response was made to the request. So the exhibit E ends with a request on March 20th. The first response picks up on defendant's exhibit 8 that says, March 25th, no problem. I'm going to send someone. So Mr. Forrest was without heat for 5 days. At the very least.
Okay. And so when did somebody finally go out and fix that issue?
Starts to get the work orders in there. It's usually 6.
Exhibit 6?
Yes. Dated March 25th, the day of the text message. The
Okay, that's when the
response
work order was created. It says open, so when was it completed?
there's a receipt if you go continue there. Well, the invoice is dated March 29th. That's their invoice for labor and materials that they received from their contractor. But it's dated for the 29th, so I'm not sure when the service was rendered. But they were invoiced after the work was done, Mr. Silva?
Yes,
Do you recall if the work was done on the 25th?
yes, the same day he will be, but when he came to the office to pay him, he came on this day, the 12th.
Hold on, you're saying that the same day that she responded,
No, Your Honor, the same day my client responded was 5 days later. There's no disagreement on the 5 days. So that's the first question. We have already discussed this ahead of time. There is no disagreement on the timing of the response.
okay, and so, you're saying that on the 25th, somebody was out there to do the work.
Right.
Interesting, because the communication from Mr. Forrest said that that wasn't going to work because she had to work. Did you have somebody else at your home?
Oh, man.
Did you not work that day?
I didn't work that day.
So did everybody, did they come out to the home?
No, they did not come out. They do pop-ups when, so I'll be at work sometimes and be like.
Okay, no, I don't want to hear about what they used to do. Regarding your furnace, when did they go, or regarding the inflammation or the coldness, when did somebody go there to fix it?
It was the next day after.
On a Sunday, the 26th.
Yes.
Do you have that information, Mr. Sahuba?
I think so, yeah, he already came after, but when he came to give me my own voice, he came after when he fixed the issue 2 days.
I understand that, but please, you're testifying under oath, right? So that means you're supposed to be telling me the truth.
Yes,
So you're telling me that he went out there on the 25th, the same day that somebody finally responded. But the text message response from Ms. DeForest says that that day wasn't going to work because she had to work.
No,
She indicates nobody came out that day, it was the next day, the 26th.
okay. Because yes, when she texted me, she asked me when, so I told her today I can send him, is available to come today. She told me I can't because I'm at work. I just wanted to her, this is his number, and you can call him, see what's the good time for you and make a schedule with him, but I don't know when he came in the same day or next day, I'm not sure.
Then you testify that you're not sure, you don't know. Don't tell me a date if that's not what happened. Please don't guess. Okay. Let's talk about this water heater and this laundry room situation, because that, I can't even believe that that was actually, there's no way that that was approved by anybody. There's wood chips, there's dirt, there's piles. And on the other side, on the outside of the home, there's a big open hole.
Okay, those when I came the first day with the inspector, those things didn't work like that when I came with the inspector. Someone here did that after I leave the inspector, 100%.
So do you think that Mr. Forrest scooped up some wood chips and dirt and brought them into her home and put them in between her dryer and the hot water tank?
Because the inspector.
Is that what you think?
Yes, because
You think that was,
someone would it, someone hit it. Because I went there with the inspector, we didn't see those. We didn't see those things next to the hot water tank. The inspector didn't give me the okay if you see something wrong. So I went there with the inspector, we didn't see those numbers. A lot of things that we walk out today, it doesn't look like that when they came with the first time with the inspector.
okay, I understand that, sir. I understand that. It's been 9 months. That was January, wasn't it?
Yes, January 16, right?
Okay,
Right.
so now it's been 9 months, or 8 months, or whatever it's been. So you saw the same thing that we all saw today, correct?
Right.
Okay, so also, did you wonder how all that dirt and wood chips and other outside elements were in the home? Did you look to see how that happened?
I just see it today.
Okay, but while you were there, when we went outside on our way to the garage, did you look to see what was going on the outside of that wall in the laundry room?
No.
Why not? You are there at the home. You're there. You see the wood chips and the dirt, and you notice that it's not the same as it was before. There's a lot more. And you weren't in the least bit wondering how that would occur.
Okay, I didn't check it because we didn't have time to stay there to check it, to see what's going on after that. So like then I can send someone later to check if there's any issue, we will fix it. We just wanted to fix any issue. That was in the lease agreement. We didn't receive any call from her for any issue except the heat.
Okay, I'm not disagreeing with you with what I've heard so far. What I'm stating is that you were there today and you didn't even look to see what could possibly be causing those outdoor elements to be inside the home.
Okay, I see it. So I didn't look, what's the problem?
Oh, I can tell you, there's a square hole, there's a square, right? Looks as though maybe where the dryer vent would be or what have you. And it's not completed there. There's a hole. There's a hole. That needs to be rectified immediately. And speaking of holes, the crawl space, as we were walking back towards the front of the house on the outside, the crawl space, completely open. Who knows what's living under there? And since there isn't an enclosure or something that stops from the access panel behind the shower down into the crawl space, whatever is getting in underneath the house could for sure come right up in there. There are some serious issues with the home. Now, that does not negate your responsibility for paying rent, ma'am. You absolutely should have been putting money into an escrow account and holding it elsewhere, or here at the court, or communicating more consistently with what the issues
Yes.
are still. And I'm not sure how that garage is still standing, because on the one side, it's completely bowed in. Completely bowed in. And I'm also not sure where that trunk is, that tree trunk is growing out of from the crawl space at the home without, I wasn't going in the crawl space. I don't know if that crawl space, that foundation is pushed in or not. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if anybody wants to go down there, but who knows what's living down there, if anything. The door going from the laundry room outside at the trim, like, you know, the door jamb in the wall, it's all spray insulation there. That clearly needs to be addressed. There are a lot of issues that have to be addressed in this home. Is it this court's opinion that that would equate to Mr. Forrest not paying anything for rent? No, I do not. However, there will be some rent abatement that this court's going to order. I cannot take into account the $2,400. We don't have any proof of that was paid, right? I find it credible that you did make payments via Venmo, as you testified to, because Mr. Al-Faqih did not seem very credible as it related to that issue at the last hearing. If you find the documentation regarding the Venmo, obviously there'd have to be some credit given to you at some point. The issue I have is, what kind of abatement does all this equate to? Because quite frankly, there are some very, very serious issues at the home. I really don't know how it passed inspection, quite honestly. I don't. Especially if Mr. Hold on. No, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it.
Try it.
I just have to look back at my notes as a, oh, the Huba. I keep switching the B and the H, so I apologize. Especially if the outdoor elements were in that laundry room area when the inspector came. I mean, there's zero way that would have been approved. So I don't know how that even, how that even happened. I don't know. And I also hear you, sir, that in January, the home may have looked differently than it does today. I understand that. Mr. Forrest,
Yes, ma'am.
from last week, it indicated that some of the photos were taken in December, which would have been before the inspection. So one would think that there were some repairs made. Perhaps those repairs didn't stick. I don't know. But when's the last time you had a roofer out there to check the status of the roof and the integrity of that?
We sent him the same day we received the inspection report. I went there, I see the roof, I sent someone to check the roof. He told me he didn't see anything wrong with the roof except just the shingles is missing, so he replaced something with shingles.
Okay, when was that?
I think in, I would say February 2nd or 3rd.
And do you have a receipt from that?
It's not with me right now, but for sure I have it in the office.
Your Honor, if I may,
Yes,
we subpoenaed the property manager and maintenance employees before the first scheduling of the trial on the 18th of last month. We specifically asked for all maintenance files as it relates to the home. And the only thing we have received is this furnace work order. We have not received any other work orders or any other invoices beyond the furnace.
right, so then that would include the roof, since you're indicating the roof was looked at and repaired.
Yes, the roof, yes.
Okay, well, so council, it seems as though there's some items that, and I'm not suggesting it's your, that it was in your intention to not turn those over. But perhaps your client isn't quite understanding what that means. Sir, any repairs that have been done to the home, which quite frankly, it appears as though there needs to be some concrete work done in front of the home because the water's pooling, because it's dipping, the concrete's dipping. There isn't even anything turned over regarding the repair, the drywall repair for the ceiling, or no?
No, Your Honor, we have a picture on Exhibit B, page 2 of an employee fixing the ceiling. However, we have not received any work orders or invoices. And last week, we had talked about the fact that this man was fixing the ceiling. And it was my belief that he would be here today to talk about the repair.
That was my understanding as well. Where's that person?
We requested he attend, Your Honor, he did not, he couldn't make it. I didn't talk to him personally, I spoke with, Mr. Al-Faqih about him appearing, and he wasn't able to make it, he stated. And also, he didn't consent to her taking a picture, he wanted me to relay that piece of information.
Okay, well, people don't consent to have their pictures taken all the time, whether they're at a concert or what have you, and they're taken and. Okay. So here's, I'm looking at the time, right? And, there needs to be a lot of calculations done. A lot.
Your Honor, if I may, just as to the final exhibit that wasn't stipulated to, can I offer that into evidence?
Okay, and when were those photos taken?
Mr.
I take those pictures before I signed the lease with her, and she go this house with those pictures, and she agreed to sign the lease when she agreed with those pictures.
Hold on, so what was the date of the photos?
It's back to 2019, I believe, I think in August or October, those pictures.
Okay,
The lease was signed October 18, 2019, Your Honor.
that's proposed exhibit what?
Plaintiff's proposed exhibit 9. I have extra copies. Have my approach.
Your response, Ms. Hess?
Your Honor, I object to admitting this into evidence. We don't know the exact date of it. My client has reviewed these photos and said that these were from the real estate listing. We don't even have we don't have a specific date for which these pictures were taken. And also, I don't even know what these pictures, what rooms are, these pictures are taken from. They're not showing the damage specifically to the ceiling. The last page, second to last page is a picture of the ceiling in the daughter's room. You can't even really see the damage to it. There's a gap, but these are pictures taken of some areas of the house that aren't even contested to.
If I may, the arrows on the side of each picture would also indicate that these were screenshots and not taken from their personal files.
Did you take those photos yourself, sir?
I did those pictures and I put it in Zillow and our website.
Okay, when did you put it on Zillow?
I think 2018.
18.
Yes, before she signed the lease.
No, sir, okay, listen, see, now you're trying to get into semantics. So you testified that the photos were taken before she signed the lease.
That's correct.
Then you said it was taken, what did you say, August or October of 2019?
18.
No, you said 19, because that's when she signed the lease.
But she
That-
signed the lease in 19.
Right.
19, so those pictures in the 19, not 18.
Hold on. Then you said that you took those to put it on Zillow in 2018.
No, I'm
Okay, council, at
sorry.
this point, he doesn't even know when he took the pictures. I can't admit those right now.
If
He
this
doesn't,
is-
he doesn't even know when he took the pictures. And,
I think he was more confused about the year. The lease was signed in October of 2019.
Yes, so we got it before this date. We got it in the market before October 16, like 5 days before or 10 days maximum. To put it in the website for Zillow, for market.
you remember from 4 years ago, how long you put it on the website for the market, 5 or 10 days before?
Yes.
You remember when you took those photos?
With the old properties. Before we put it in the market, we go to the houses, make a picture, and put it in Zillow right away.
All right, council, I don't even have a date for those photos.
Yeah, it's a general, they don't have specific dates on their photos. We're not asking for specific dates, this is a general timeframe. These photos were taken prior to the tenancy starting. The plaintiff has stated that he took them and he posted them online. These arrows are reflective that they were posted online, which is corroborated by Mr. Forrest. And she stated she saw these photos on the Zillow website prior to taking possession. I don't see what the issue is with chain of custody for these photos. They can be disputed as to their content, but as to whether they're valid and admissible, I don't think there's any dispute that they're valid and admissible.
What would be the relevance of those photos, given that now we're 4 years later and there's what appears to be significant issues with the home that have arisen, it looks so, within the last 8 to 10 months?
Yeah, there's a lot of damages that were in December to the walls and cracks in the walls that appears that were caused by individuals hitting the walls and the carpet leading up to the top floor that look worse today than they do in these photos. Also, the ceiling in the daughter's room very clearly is not in the shape that it was in back then. I understand the court presumes that's an issue with the roof, but also the walls on the first floor don't look, the kitchen doesn't look quite as bad as it did today with the visual inspection of the court. And lastly, as the court has stated, the property was in good shape when the tenant took over. When the tenant took possession, or at least relatively good shape, or else you wouldn't have moved in at the time. Our contention is that a lot of the damage is caused by the tenant. There is some damage that potentially is not caused by the tenant, and we can concede to that. But the plaintiff's contention is that a lot of this damage was caused by the tenant, both prior to and after the city inspected the property. As spoken to by the city inspector who was here last week, that stated they would not have issued a certificate of occupancy if the property was in that condition in January of this year. So that leads me to believe that the property was in a good enough condition to be certified compliance by the city's records, and sometime since that time till now, significant damage has occurred with the property. So I mean, that's really long-winded answer to your question. I apologize.
That's okay. So tell me, which items do you believe are caused by the defendant?
I concede anything on the ceiling, I can't imagine a person can cause that damage. It does appear that it is caused from exterior forces and not from somebody causing the damage. It was more the walls. When I showed this to the maintenance, I'm sorry, I'm trying to get to the exhibit.
Today, nothing on the walls was directed in these exhibits today, other than the one by the door up in the daughter's bedroom.
That was it. Yeah, that'd be the only one that I would say there was some damage that was caused by an individual that would have caused damage to that wall. So if you're asking me my opinion, that would be my opinion.
Okay. So just the damage to the wall near the door, okay. All right, so so to be honest, if we're taking out the $2,400 Venmo payment, okay? And let's say for this point, we take out the wall by the door, which looking at that, it doesn't appear as though it was damaged by an individual, but even for sake of this right here, how can the two of you be that far apart when all the other issues are not attributed to the defendant?
If I may, Your Honor, the settlement negotiations are not admissible.
I understand, I'm not asking for dollar amounts, I'm just
No,
asking how you can be that far apart.
It's not it's not, we both have agreed to some sort of abatement. The problem is that there's no form of payment that my client was willing to accept that Mr. Forrest was willing to offer. And that's where we're far apart. So my client is looking for a form of payment and a quickness of payment, so to speak, and then Mr. Forrest cannot meet those requirements. And unfortunately, that's where it fell apart.
Okay, so you all agreed on an abatement amount?
Very close to, yes.
No, Your Honor,
I guess, I don't want to speak for the defendant. I think it was, we were in the middle of agreeing on it, but we never actually agreed on an abatement amount. That's correct.
Okay. Yes, Ms. Hess?
we did not agree on.
Okay.
Or even close to it because negotiations had ended.
Well, no, I believe we were close to the abatement amount. The part that my client couldn't accept was the proposal of how the payments would be made. So that was.
Okay, and I obviously I'm not privy to that information.
Yes.
However, I would indicate that, perhaps your client should consider a payment plan that would extend over a number of months, given how long Mr. Forrest has had to, have these conditions
Yeah.
that she's had to live with.
And without getting too close to the settlement.
I understand,
We were in that space, Your Honor.
okay,
And we couldn't get, it was close to, it was a matter of months that we were willing to work with Mr. Forrest.
okay,
And unfortunately, the time period is far too long for my client to accept.
okay. Well, I'm going to have everybody come back in a few weeks and we can determine where we're at with that. In the meantime, I'm expecting that there's going to be some significant fixes done to the property. In the meantime, Mr. Forrest needs to deposit her monthly rent here with the court via an escrow order.
The next rental payment due, Your Honor, is on the 18th of September, which is Monday.
Okay, so the court's going to indicate escrow order to enter. I'm going to indicate the monthly rental amount of $800 per month. It gets deposited here with the court. We will determine whatever abatement is going to occur as to what amounts go to which party, okay? But you still need to make the rental payment and it's into the escrow account here at the court, okay?
Your Honor, there was a question of, with the security deposit. I don't know if that's something that you would be willing to address now.
With the security deposit?
Yes.
What's the issue with the security deposit?
Again, I don't want to get too much into these settlement offer, but it appears that she was charged over 200% of her rent for the security deposit. And there is a question on whether she will get it back with the current state of the property.
Yeah, the security deposit was charged was $1,050. The rental rate at the time, I believe, was $800, so that's not 200%.
So
But the The security deposit is handled under the tenancy law. I mean, this is not something to do with until after the tenant has vacated the premises.
Right, so that doesn't appear to be right at this point. And if everybody return on October 13th at 1 o'clock. I want to see, first of all maintenance information has to be sent over, anything that was repaired, right? Even if it was a light bulb that they came over to replace, right? I mean, I know that's really minuscule, but I'm trying to send a message, right? Anything needs to be turned over as far as what was repaired. There needs to be somebody that knows how to repair drywall properly. And then obviously that person may not necessarily be the one that's going to paint it, but that needs to be done. There needs to be an evaluation done on the roof to see where, if anything, there's any leaks. Then you may even need to have a drywall contractor come out to look to see what is going on, if anything. Right? Sometimes as a property owner that's renting it out, you're hoping that you can keep the cost minuscule, right? But sometimes you have to spend the money to have a contractor come out because it's beyond your ability to figure that out as far as if there's a leak or something of that nature. And for sure, the crawl space and then that area on the back side of the laundry room, and then you probably have to have a carpenter or somebody come out to figure out structurally what's going on with that garage. And we'll send everybody back on October 13th at 1:30 p.m.
Your Honor, I'll prepare the escrow order.
Thank
for
you.
the court. Submit that via this house and then the email.
Yes, and then actually after you get, that's fine, and then if you can just email that in, just so it doesn't get lost somewhere in my file, because apparently there's not a great way to separate that yet, it's, yeah, we agree.
You mean instead of doing the e-file? Okay, I don't do the e-file myself, my paralegal, so it's all foreign to me at this point.
Okay, so when I'm struggling with with why things are taking too long there,
Yeah.
you don't understand my pain, because you haven't had to do it yet.
I'm scared to even try to do it. So.
Yeah, I mean, I figured out like everything to push and things, but sometimes then it freezes and then, you know.
I just know when it gets accepted and rejected, that's my job.
There you go, okay, all right, anything else at this point? October 13th at 1:30.
I'm sorry, we never got a final ruling on the proposed exhibit 9.
If your client can figure out when he took those photos, because it's possible those were even done, you know, a year before Mr. Forrest moved in. I don't know how long it was up on Zillow. I don't know.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay? All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good day. Off the record.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Okay. So, all right. Are we doing that Riverview in custody? No. Okay. So we're done?